Hey, my type 1 friends. I'm Sam Tullman. Here's another week of mindful movement for you. And this week we're going to do something that you might not have thought about as mindful movement. You might have thought about it as not moving and being mindful, but I'd like to introduce a different take on something that you might have done before, maybe in a yoga class. So let's lay down. For me, I'm going to lay down on this bed because I've got it here. But you can also just lay down on the ground, and there's different things you can do to prop yourself up or get yourself comfortable. Maybe something behind your head is really nice to make it a little softer. You can use something under your knees, which you'll see in a second. Let's take a look. So, I'm going to go sideways so you can see a little bit better what's going on with me. And I'm actually going to invite us all to lay down, but keep our knees bent like this. The reason we do that is it allows the pelvis more easily to come under, and that can then give us a little bit more movement in our pelvis as we breathe. Going back to that mindful movement piece. So I'd like to just start here with just taking a big deep breath. And actually, I'm going to check my blood sugar first. I invite you to do the same. So we can just set that aside for the time that we're practicing. All right. So maybe as we're laying here first, we can just give ourselves a little bit of gentle touch and curious touch. You're allowing your mind to actually find yourself, like, oh, I'm here. This is the boundaries of my body. This is where I supposedly stop and the rest of the world supposedly starts. Do this everywhere, even if you think you know where you start and stop. Be a little bit on your head. Naturally, as I start doing this, I find I want to give myself a little bit of almost like a little bit of gentle massage, and so I really invite you to do that too. This is a way of showing care to your body, in addition to helping your mind locate where everything is. All right, there's a leg there. Oh, there's a foot there. Yeah, that makes sense. Normally it's there at the end of the leg. All right. All right. So here I am. Now, often when we're in seated meditation, we'll come back throughout the process. When we get lost, we'll come back to where the body is and relaxing the body. But that little touch experiment that we just did, you can come back to that at any time during our moving meditation, a little more gentle movement. During our moving meditation today, you can come back to this anytime. Just a little bit of touch to remember, oh yeah, I'm here, okay. All right. As you come to rest, I invite you to rest your hands. You could rest both on the belly or both on the heart, or one on the belly and heart, but finding somewhere from the top of your head to your tailbone that you can kind of rest a hand. Just take a moment to breathe naturally. Where do you notice breath moves? And you can move your hands around to see if certain places are moving. So I notice my lower belly moves, my solar plexus moves. My chest right now is not moving as much, but sometimes, some days it does. All right, relax into it even a little bit more. You notice yourself holding against the ground or the space under you. See what you can just release into the ground. Be softer. Be less tense, less resistant, less on guard. And the movement of today's moving meditation is simple. Not necessarily easy, but simple. It's just the movement from here to here as we breathe. And you're going to take in full breaths, a little bit more full than you normally would. You don't need to go crazy full as much as you possibly can. Make sure it's comfortable still, but just taking really deeper breaths than normal. I invite you to try to soften in this area here, to allow the breath to first fill up here, and then fill up your belly, and then fill up your lower rib cage, and then your upper rib cage, and then maybe your neck and your head tilt back a little bit to accommodate. So even though air is coming from here, from your nose, it could come from your mouth if your mouth is open. It's coming from here, but you can imagine just like you're filling up a glass of water. Water comes from the top of the glass, but it fills up at the bottom of the glass first. Let's think about it like that and just experiment a little bit. And when you exhale, you don't need to give some special slow exhale. You can just almost sigh it out. An open mouth sigh if you like. You can close mouth sigh just with your nose. Either way works here. For those of us who've done a lot of yoga practice, and please continue as I'm talking, and just notice what's happening with your breath moving this whole space. So many of us who have done some yoga practice are used to controlling breath in different ways. And this is an opportunity to relinquish some of that for this practice. Let you just feel as relaxed as possible. You can play with where your attention is. So sometimes if your hands are certain places, it helps you attend to them. You can also really tune into your spine and see, what is my spine doing? How is it moving as I breathe? And the more relaxed you can be, the more that spine will allow itself to move. So it does actually move with the breath if it's not constrained. You can experiment with straightening your legs out as well. So what's making this moving meditation, again, just please continuing to notice the movement of your spine and torso as you breathe. What's making this a moving meditation is we're filling up a little deeper on air to really emphasize this movement and to follow the gentle rhythmic movements of the spine. So it takes a lot of delicacy in terms of tensing and relaxing, mostly relaxing, allowing yourself to be soft enough that the breath moves things on its own. Starting by filling up this lower portion really in the pelvis. Some of you might have heard of the pelvic floor. There is a part in the perineum that actually does slightly move down as we exhale, and it relaxes and fills up, and then as we inhale and as we exhale, it contracts back up just the same as our normal diaphragm, and contracts back up and there's less space, and then on the inhale it softens and there's more space for the air. Seeing if you can feel that in your perineum. See if you can feel yourself breathing up. Softening this whole pelvis region. And a little bit of gentle massage can also really help that, and so I invite you to do that as well. And help you get really soft and allow more air to flow. Let's do a few more breaths and then we'll just lay here for a second. Shavasana style for those of you who are familiar with yoga. And as we take these few more breaths, really imagining that the breath goes all the way from the base of your torso, from the perineum, the tailbone, all the way up to your heart, and starts warming your heart. Taking a few more big breaths like that. And as we move into a sort of shavasana for just a minute or two, letting go of everything except this sense that you're breathing directly in and out of your heart. You can place hands on your heart if you like. Breathing warmth, appreciation, and forgiveness. As you're ready, you can start to slowly close that, or if you like, you can continue on your own for a few more minutes. Taking a stretch as you like. And rolling up gently